breaking news. Ambush underway. Bloody massacre at U.S. mall. Americans barely made it through the holiday season without a mall ambush, which authorities had warned could happen with terrorism in the U.S. on the rise. It turns out that the bloody massacre was saved for a day after New Year's Day, when innocent shoppers weren't suspecting it and had perhaps let the guard down. Now, an entire mall is on lockdown and employees and patrons are terrified for their lives while police officers work quickly to find two suspects. One of the strictest states in the nation for gun control has found themselves once again on the receiving end of a bad guy with a gun, while good guys have no way of defending themselves from their wrath. People are scrambling and hiding within the Corte Madera mall that now on lockdown, with sitting ducks trapped inside with two shooters looking for their next victims. Initial reports are calling this horrific incident and armed robbery gone wrong, but recent history tells us that typically the first conclusion authorities jump to when perhaps the intent is actually much different. An armed robbery at the Village in Corte Madera prompted a lockdown at the mall Tuesday morning, according to security at the mall. Crown reports the armed robbery happened outside of the Nordstrom. Security also tells KRON4 the mall is being reopened at this time. However, Nordstrom and some other stores remain on lockdown. NBC Bay Area reports from the scene. Police activity is being reported at the Village Mall in Corte Madera. According to posts on social media, at least two people who are at the mall said a lockdown had been issued by mall security. One person said on Twitter he was moved to the break room at the Apple store was safety. Authorities in Marin County are responding to an incident at the Village at Corte Madera Mall. The police activity is in the area of 1870 Redwood Highway in Corte Madera. Numerous officers with guns drawn are on scene outside of the Nordstrom store. Authorities would not confirm to KTVU the nature of the incident. KTVU spoke to an employee who says her manager called her just before 10 a.m. advising her not to come to work because of a gunman at the mall. On December 18, Liberty Bell for Freedom Daily reported another incident like this one, but with a much different outcome. For years, we have heard the gun grabbers on the left spouting off lies to disarm the American people. It seems that every time there is a news report of gun violence, the left is ready to pass new legislation that would make it harder for law-abiding citizens to purchase guns to protect themselves and families. These gun grabbers are quick to mention all the times the criminals had used guns to harm others, but hardly recount the stories of when a good guy with a gun stopped a potential tragedy. And that point is proven yet again when a deranged gunman walked into a Kansas State Costco today screaming that he was ready to kill innocent people. However, all that was averted thanks to an armed citizen in the store who was able to stop the lunatic, and it was all caught on video. When any of us go to the grocery store, the last thing on any of our minds is that we could be walking into danger. However, that is what happened on Monday when families in Lenexa, Kansas were faced with the unthinkable. As people were milling about the superstore, the crazed gunman Roland Hunt walked into Costco armed with a gun and began screaming, "I'm going to kill people." Fortunately for all the shoppers there that day, Captain Michael Howell, an off-duty police captain, was in the store at the same time, and he made sure no one harmed except the gunman. As Hunt walked further into the store, Howell stalked him, being sure to protect the women and children from the potential harm the gunman could bring. Then, when Hunt caught sight of Howell, he turned and pointed his gun at the officer. But before he could get a shot off, Howell already shot him dead. It's a right of every American to be able to defend themselves against lunatics and terrorists like these shopping center shooters. It's no coincidence that a lot of these incidents take place in liberal anti-Second Amendment states. They know they are safe and gun-free zones to do what they want. This needs to be stopped, and the only way to do it is to arm and empower innocent people with the right to protect themselves.